Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Earl. To be followed by Mr. James Tucker.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much for your time. I am not from the Sabine area, but actually from Bramblewood. My name is David Goodall, and I live 14610 Bramblewood Drive. And here to address, yet again, flooding issues. You might have seen me on the news just yesterday. It was my 10 minutes of fame. And we're having issues with, for me, 2 times flooding of recent, and my next door neighbor 4 times flooding in the past 2 months. And we would like to try to help the city, help us in solving this problem. One of the ideas that we've mentioned, along with what you guys are doing very well, working on our area of the drainage, and we're hoping that it's going to be well enough before the next rains come, was a secondary line that would go between these our 2 houses that the residential people say, yes, we'd love to have it and we'll maintain it and we'll pay for it. All we need to do is have the permit to be able to put it in. And that one would immediately alleviate the problem.
Yes, ma'am.
And for the future onwards. And so I'm checking to see if that would be an option, along with what we're working on with the ultimate solution as it's been put before. And I could keep talking, I guess, with 3 minutes. Okay.
Until the bell rings, it's all yours.
Okay, here we go. Oh, no, okay. Just wanted to mention that, the main 3 thing F's, the flooding, FEMA, and funding, we're all trying to solve these issues. And if we're not able to have our houses, if the houses, again, get flooded to a certain extent, I understand FEMA will then just pay for our houses, and then the property value would drop, and you guys would receive less taxes, bada beam, bada boom. So we'd hate that domino to start rolling. So is that the right terminology? Dominoes to start falling. So anyhow.
That's it?
That's all I can say.
We have several council members who would like to address you. Councilmember Stardig?
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure, I did see the report, and that you're on Bramblewood off of Derry Ashford?
That is correct.
You're on the east side, correct?
Well, with the,
East of Derry Ashford?
Okay. We're on the west side of Derry Ashford. Actually, I grew up on the east side of Derry Ashford, but we're on the west side.
Okay, the Harkins, yeah. I know Bramblewood very well, because the Harkins was a dear friend of mine.
Oh.
So, yeah, I'm concerned, when you talk about a pipe going between the properties,
yes,
would that not be the same as having like a French drain or something else, or is it something more industrial that you're looking for that I don't understand in that description?
It's more industrial from what I understand. We have an engineer that's already drawn it for about $80,000. It's being able to be put right between the 2 houses, and it would just automatically...
Does it pump the water, or what is the process? Do you know? Who came up with this idea?
Rick Walter, next door, the one who's been flooded 4 times, has created the drawings for it, has had people look at it, and it looks like it's a viable option. So we just need surveyors to take a look at the whole situation.
But you're right by the bayou too, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I know that in the past, when I've had creeks, direct input into the creeks, there's the Corps has to be involved, Corps of Engineers, and a lot of other folks. So I don't know if that's the case in this one. I don't know if you know that already or not. My colleague might be able to answer some of those questions. He's probably investigated further for you. Mm-hmm. But those are some of the things that obstacles that we had to overcome in getting direct input into the bayous or the creeks without going through that process with Public Works. So I'd be interested to hear what the solution ends up being and how that moves forward. But I totally, anything we can do to help our neighbors, I'm about keeping water out of their homes. Thank you.
And anything
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Travis?
Thank you.
Yes. Mr. Goodall, thank you for coming today.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to have you explain a little bit further some of the pain and suffering you're going through on this as well, because I want people to get to know this.
Okay.
And the reason is we're going to be arguing and discussing CIP tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get more money into my district to solve these problems.
Thank you.
You are aware, though, I want to make sure you know this, that there is a sinkhole repair that's being done right now.
Yes, sir.
And I want to make sure, because that is one issue we have on there.
Right.
The other one I know is it's going to start August 1st, according to Steve Costello, where they're going to redo the drains in Pine Sap and lower that intersection. Both of those are going to help alleviate the problem, but I don't think they're going to solve the problem.
Right.
The solution is going to come when Dairy Ashford gets redone, but that's a couple years away because it's a huge problem.
Yes, sir.
And the problem is we don't have enough money in our council district service fund or all this to do that. I like the idea about the drain. The problem is when you have basically a flow back and all that. But Steve Costello, former Councilman Costello, Czar Costello, has actually talked about doing a swell if these other two issues don't work. And I know we've talked to Jerry Hamlin about doing one through his yard.
Right.
So a swell would probably be better than putting a pipe down through, because you're not going to really have that flow back issue that you might on a pipe.
Gotcha.
But those are things we're working on, and we're still working on it. And I know it doesn't mean much when your house keeps flooding. So I wonder if you could actually go into what you go through on that, because I want people to understand that of when your house floods, it's just not about sweeping the water out and getting on with your day, is it?
No. The situation is that I came back from the week before 4th of July and found the house flooded, and apparently sewage also was involved with it. So we had a nice smell along with the flooding waters themselves. And immediately, the good thing is I got good insurance because I knew what I was walking into. I bought the house in September of last year, knowing since I grew up in the area, I wanted to continue growing up in my favorite area.
Well,
and
when it floods, it doesn't just flood on the baseboard. It'll actually get into the drywall and creep up, won't it?
Yes, sir.
So it only floods 3 or 4 inches. You've got to replace 3 or 4 feet
of drywall. So it just takes a few inches to really make a mess of the whole situation. Not to mention that the wood flooring, it gets underneath that and makes it buckle, and we have skeets, so we had a little pond under there, and we have to then try to get that all sucked out and dried and everything. And so just when we thought we were finished, it happened last Saturday. Yippee-ki. So, yeah, it's very frustrating.
Well, and I can, like I said, I know Steve Costello is aware of it, Public Works is aware of it, and I know that they're looking into Mr. Walter's idea.
Yes, sir.
But I think the swell is going to be a better way to go.
Okay, sir.
It accomplishes pretty much the same thing, but I'm going to leave that up to the professionals.
All right.
But thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Robinson?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Travis. I just saw our czar, Steve Costello's assistant, your former chief, Sally Alcorn. If you could wave, Mr. Goodall. I think she is preparing to take you to our czar Costello's office right after this meeting to discuss where they are. So if you could get with Sally, that would be great.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One moment, please. Councilmember Stoddard?
Once again, I just want to, I'm really interested in your situation because I know this is going to be sort of what you're able to accomplish, we can take and do other things with, across the city. So this is on which waterway? Where you're next to?
The Buffalo Bayou.
Right.
Yes,
so
sir.
if you're doing swells and so the rules are that the flow off of a property.
I'm sorry, Councilmember. Is there a motion to extend? Second. In favor, opposed, passed. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm just concerned about, what we're starting here as far as the flow off the property, because downstream they are concerned about how much we put into the water system, so that we don't negatively impact someone else downstream. So I want to hear, Councilmember Travis, if you don't mind sharing exactly what happens here, because my watersheds go to Buffalo Bayou, and they go to Brick House Gully also, so they go to your direction, and so we're all impacting each other. So it's very important to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilmember Travis.
While he's still here, let me explain a little bit to my councilman as well, because this is actually interesting. We've had a problem with it for over a year. Actually, it's been several years, but I came involved about a year ago.
Yes,
but recently, there's even more of a problem. We had a sinkhole that developed as a result of a broken line. So all the water that's supposed to be going out to the bayou actually didn't get to the bayou, and now there's a sinkhole about the size of our council chamber here. It's basically just west of Dairy Ashford About 100 yards, you say?
I would say so, sir.
So it's just right there, so we're repairing that sinkhole, because that's the emergency issue.
Yes.
But they've noticed the flow, and what's happening is some of the flows on Pine Street, actually the way this goes is Dairy Ashford comes down here, and then goes back up before it gets to to the bayou. And then you've got Bramblewood comes down a little bit and then goes up to Pine Sap. So you've got all this water when it rains heavy coming down to this one location, and there are some drains there that used to drain properly. They're not draining properly now.
Correct.
And so we're trying to figure out what's going on there. We've had Public Works out there. They've looked into it, but so there shouldn't be any more water going there than is already supposed to go there.
Right.
And I think the really big thing is, and we all need to look at this, is the bayou needs to probably we need to go through and dredge it, and we need to dredge the reservoirs. Of course, that's not us, that's the Army Corps of Engineer, because we've got so much silt there that the water is not being held back, which is because everything else is gravity fed. So every street around there, when it rains, can't get out to the bayou because all that water's already there. And that affects everybody all the way down. So that's our big, and all the way up. And that's our big issue. So I hope did I state that right then?
That sounds right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So we know the problem. We just got to get a solution, and part of the solution is getting the money.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at least that one that I mentioned, at least we would be able to do the funding and then keep the maintenance for you. So
Swell's going to be cheaper than putting a line through there.
Yeah.
Swell's a better idea, and that's
Okay.
Steve Costello's idea.
Okay, that's great.
And I sort of like that one. But anyway, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Tucker. Mr. Tucker will be followed by